All right, coach, coming off a hard fought 2 games versus the University of Maine, headed into a tough Hockey East matchup versus a ranked Providence team, top 10 home and home series. Just want to get your thoughts heading into the weekend.
Okay, hold on one sec. I'm just having some
Oh, no worries. No worries at all.
here, trying to get back on. I don't know what happened to my screen.
Jerry showed up again.
What's that?
So Jerry showed up again.
Yeah. All right, now I'm good. Yeah, this is certainly an exciting weekend for us. Regardless of what the national polls say, when you look at the pairwise, which is the ultimate decider on who goes to the national tournament or not. I know it's still very early, but they're 4 and we're 5. So this is going to be a tremendous challenge for us, and we're looking forward to the weekend.
All right, we'll open up for questions. Bob, you want to go first?
Yeah. Hey, Mike, we talked about on the coaches show. Their power play is good. Your penalty kill has been phenomenal this season. What do they do well on the power play that makes them so dangerous?
Well, they got great players for one, with Crozier up top, and you got Berard on a flank and Moynihan on a flank, Parker Ford, Riley Duran. They've got really good players for one. They do an excellent job of attacking the net. They get pucks and bodies to the net. They play with a ton of pace. As good as our penalty kill's been, it's certainly not going to be a great formula for success if we're taking lots of penalties this weekend.
Now, does that mean you have to pick and choose when to be aggressive, or are you going to stick to your guns and do what you do best?
We've talked about quite a bit, whether we're aggressive or whether we're passive, we just got to be all on the same page, and we've got to be connected and execute accordingly. So that's going to be, the biggest challenge, as it is for every week with our special teams.
Go ahead, Dan.
We got Tabor coming up later. Just how have you thought his freshman year has gone so far? Is pretty much a staple on that third, fourth line.
Yeah, I think it's been going really well. He plays some really important minutes for us. He's gotten more time on the penalty kill as of late. He brings a abundance of energy, to practice and to the locker room. He's a very positive kid. I think if you polled our team and said, who are the most positive kids on the team, he'd certainly be in the top 3 for sure. He's just always got a smile on his face, and he loves coming to the rink.
His junior numbers didn't really jump off the page, and points wise, he's not necessarily jumping off the page this season, but did you just see that energy and that edge that he brought when he was playing in juniors or even earlier that attracted you to him?
Probably saw it more when he was playing at Avon, and Mike Pereira coached him at Avon. So, Mike would tell us about him at the time and how effective he is as a player, and just don't look at points. And he scored some points at Avon. He scored at Avon. But we knew that he was you can't have, when you're making up a team, there's got to be a lot of different pieces to it. And not everybody can be Ryan Torberg, and not everybody can be Hudson Shandor or Matt Wood. Like, you need guys that are very effective in a lot of different roles, and he provides one of those roles for us.
Coach, I'll jump in here quickly. You've had a couple weeks now with Samu getting practice under his belt, getting accustomed with the guys. How do you think he's fit in the overall team and everything since he's joined you guys?
I think he's fit in pretty seamlessly when you consider that he basically flew over here on a Saturday and had 3 practices and played for us. And then played okay, and then had a week of practice, and he got a couple more games under his belt. But I think as time goes on, you're going to see how he what he's really capable of. He's got a lot of attributes, especially pro attributes, his size and his strength, and he's got good stick skills, great hockey IQ. And the more comfortable he becomes, I think you're going to see a heck of a player.
Andrew, we'll head over to you.
Hey, Mike. I learned a long time ago not to ask coaches if this is a big weekend, but because I know every weekend is big.
Right.
But that being said, with two high-ranked teams playing this weekend, does it certainly make it a little easier to impress upon your players just how big this weekend is?
One of the things, Andrew, that I think has led to some of our early success is that the players treat every game pretty much the same way. We really haven't gone into a game. Now, have we played well in every game? Not necessarily, but have we gone into a game not prepared and not respecting our opponent? I don't think that's happened. I think we've done a really good job of, breaking it down and understanding that this is the most important game we play. I had showed the kids a clip on Derek Jeter, and as a Red Sox fan, it pained me to kind of watch some of that, but I really respect him as a player, and I watched that series, and he said how he treated every game like it was a World Series game, regardless if it was in May or July or October. He treated every game like it was a World Series game. And I think that attributed to so much of his success. And that's something that we've really been focusing on. We got into the Hockey East Championship game last year. I said, let's treat every game as we can as a Hockey East Championship game. That being said, when you're playing the Providence weekend's always an exciting weekend for us. And this year, with both of us having, strong starts to the season, it adds even more to it.
Go ahead, Dan.
Just kind of in that vein, do you think this team's been maybe different than others in years past, having that experience winning last season and having learned how to win a little bit, that they're able to find more ways to win and get things done even when it's not necessarily their best night?
Yeah, I've talked about it a few times, how finally breaking through last year after 8 years in the league was mentally uplifting for us. It took a major monkey off our back, and I think the program realized that what its potential could be in Hockey East. That certainly helped. There's no question about it. I've talked about it an awful lot. I remember, when I first got to BC and we had 6 losing seasons, and we went on a run and went to the national championship game. And from that point on, the expectation was we want to play in a national championship game. And that mindset just carried over. And there could be, I think, a little bit of that certainly this season. Like these players, Torberg and Capone and Spets and Shandor, Flynn, Reese. There's a lot of guys that played last year that their expectations are to go back there. And they understand that in order to get back there in March, you got to have great Octobers and Novembers and Decembers. It just can't happen in February and March. So that's something that I think that they understand.
Randy, we'll go over to you.
Thanks. Morning, Coach. How are you today?
I'm great, Randy. You?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
I want to ask you something I've noticed in the stands is that the say core 3,000 people that come, they really seem to have a good feel for the game, and they've been rising at the end of big penalty kills. And I just wondered if you and the players kind of feel that energy from like the core group that's been, kind of there every day, and their hockey IQ and the vibe that they kind of provide.
It's no question. I think since I've got here that the fan base has been a very educated fan base as far as hockey goes. From the very first game we played here against Boston College, it wasn't like, they were cheering when Boston College, went on the power play. They totally understood the intricacies of the game. And that's probably because it's been a great hockey state. The Whalers brought so much to this state. And I think there's an abundance of hockey fans here that have a great understanding and respect for the game. And they understand the little nuances that happen during a game and celebrate those. And it's been fun. It's really been fun coaching here. And I think the state of Connecticut they just love their sports here in Connecticut. And whether it's basketball or hockey or football or field hockey, especially here on campus, baseball, they come out in droves and they support the state team.
Thanks. That's all for me today.
Anything else for Coach, guys? Go ahead,
Yeah.
Dan.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry, Bob.
Go ahead, Bob.
No, I didn't put the raise in. I just turned the mic on. We had Justin and Adam on the coaches show the other night. When I think of guys that are muckers and grinders, Chuck Kate used to call them the foot soldiers, like Stu Gavin, Dave Tippett, Dean Evison, those guys when they played for the Whalers. Do Adam and Justin? Yeah, I know. I'm aging myself. I know we're at that age, but do those guys fit that description of the guys that just go out and do the dirty work to get things done to help the other guys be productive?
Yeah, they do, but I don't really look at it like Tristan Frazier has 2 or 3 goals already, and I count on everybody to chip in. And if you notice, a lot of times I don't really get concerned when you have really, I think, strong teams and you have confidence in your players. I don't get too concerned with like line matchups. I'll put those guys out there against anybody because I feel like they can contribute just as much as the Amonte line or the Shandor line. So I try not to label them like as a fourth line. They're just one of the lines on our hockey team that continually play great minutes for us or play, solid quality minutes for us. And I think that's what happens with good teams. Now, there's certain nights where, as a coach, you got to, hey, this line doesn't really match up well against this line, and let's keep them away from them. But for the most part, I think when we're playing our best hockey, you see us rolling 4 lines, regardless of matchups, and letting the other team try to adapt to us.
Dan, we'll head over to you.
Health-wise, anyone that's in question this weekend?
No, I think we're pretty good. As of today, we're pretty good going out for practice.
Knock on wood, but good start to the season in that, right?
Amen. Don't jinx me, Dan.
Hey, Tabor, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. So you played at Avon. You played for Mike there. Now you come to UConn, and Mike is one of your assistants. What's it been like playing for him in high school and now in college?
Yeah, he was actually a big part of the reason why I ended up going to Avon. I initially wanted to go out and play junior hockey, but he got on me a good bit and he hounded me and he ended up getting me there, which was great. I honestly had like the best 2 years of my life there. And I thought it was really good for exposure, just coming to the Northeast and kind of getting a feel for the hockey out here. And then, yeah, obviously coming here, it was great to have like a familiar face, and he's been nothing but supportive the whole time. So it's been awesome.
Is he different at all since you had him as a coach? I know it was only like 2 years, right? But
no, he hasn't changed.
Randy, we'll head over to you.
Thanks. Tabor, Randy Brochu, do the video, the play-by-play on the video. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Hey, take us through that first goal. It was a real, effort at the front of the net, and I guess you're the last to get that touch on it. Take us through that and how it felt.
Yeah, obviously an unbelievable feeling to finally get the monkey off the back and just get that first one potted. But I think we just had like a great overall shift. My line mates, Tristan Fraser, Jake Valou, and then the 2D that were out there, Jake Flynn and Massinio, we all kind of just hemmed it in, kept reloading over the puck and got a couple shots that shift. And then Flinny ended up finding Louis backdoor and he got a few shots at it and then ended up just finding its way into the back of the net. So yeah, very unreal experience, especially scoring it at home at the XL Center in front of all the fans. So that was really cool.
And you guys this past weekend, you had your best weekend in the face-off circle. I know Coach's been talking about the wings, kind of crashing in to support the center. You're a winger. Can you take us through, why you had such success and what your role is on the wing in the face-off circle?
Yeah, I mean, faceoffs aren't just only on the centers, right? So it's huge whenever you can get the wingers to come in and help out and kind of find those loose pucks and get them back to the D. But yeah, that's been a main key emphasis for us as we've gone throughout the year so far, is just being hard on faceoffs, because the more faceoffs you win, obviously the more possession time you'll have. So that's been a huge key factor for us that we've been focusing on.
All right. And just to get to know you a little bit more, grew up in Frisco, Texas. Yes. Are you a Stars fan, or who'd you grow up kind of rooting for and looking up to as far as, a team and then maybe a couple players?
Yeah. So I was actually born in Florida, in Naples. I lived there for about 10 years. So I kind of grew up like a Panthers fan. I went to a few of those games whenever I was younger. So that was very cool. And then whenever we moved to Dallas, I did end up becoming a Stars fan. I really like their colors, and the rink is pretty cool there too. So it also helped that they made a Stanley Cup run a couple years ago. So that was fun to watch.
All right. Thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, Bob, we'll head over to you.
Hey, Tabor, I'm Randy's cohort on the radio. I can call the games on there. And first of all, welcome to UConn. And what's the adjustment been like for you, not only getting adapted to the program, but also now you're getting adapted to at least one new line mate. You got Tristan now over as a center. You're on the wing with Adam Daw. Earlier, you were playing with Jake Valou. What's that transition on campus been like, and then on the ice playing with some new guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been great. It's been a pretty smooth transition. I think the USHL prepared me a good bit for college hockey and like the structure of everything. But obviously, a different coach, new staff, new state. It's been all up in the air, but I think I've done a pretty good job handling all the battles of adversity and just dealing with kind of getting settled in and everything. But it's been fun. I've had nothing but fun here. All the guys have been great, super supportive. Nothing but love around here, and so it's been awesome.
Now, when you got to Avon Old Farms, UConn was kind of, and it's still on the way up. Was it on your radar at all, though, when it came to picking schools before you got contacted that, hey, we're interested in you?
So my grandfather and my uncle went to Boston College, so I've always kind of been like around the Hockey East environment and everything, and I knew I wanted to play in Hockey East. So yeah, I would say UConn being a newer program, I definitely kind of wanted to come here like initially because just new room for opportunity and everything, kind of make a new name for the program. So yeah, I definitely say they were on my radar.
Thanks. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Anything else for Tabor, guys? Go ahead, Dan.
I'm curious, maybe I missed it, but did they play at BC or did they just go there?
My grandfather played at BC. He was there. He played 1 year there, and he ended up getting hurt and then went back home. And my uncle just went there. So he's always been like a diehard BC fan. And previously in years past, they played in this tournament down in Florida, which was actually at my main rink. And it was like Boston University, Maine, Cornell, BC. I forget the name of the tournament, maybe the Florida Cup or something. But I ended up going to a few of those tournaments and watching them play. And they ended up winning it 1 year. And obviously with like Johnny Gaudreau and Hayes playing there and everything, it was a lot of fun to watch and definitely something to look up to.
Cav was coaching in that too.
Correct. Yeah.
Randy, we'll head over to you.
Yeah, just one more question, because you're talking about growing up in Florida and part of your life in Texas spurred this. I mean, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I don't know that you'd ever see a college hockey player come from those states, but now you're seeing it much more commonly. What is life like growing up in, I guess the South, getting rink time, getting ice time, and how has it grown from your perspective as someone who is now playing college hockey growing up there?
Right. Obviously not being in like traditional hockey market, it's kind of tough to find ice occasionally, but I was pretty fortunate enough to be able to get out on the ice a good amount. I'd say the travel teams are definitely, they're opening up the market for everyone to be able to come join and play and come skate. They make it really easy for you to kind of just hop in the loop and become a part of the hockey community. And I was also very fortunate that my grandfather, my two uncles played, and my two older brothers also play. And I have a twin sister that currently plays at Lindenwood University. So I've kind of always been like around the hockey environment and everything. So I always knew that was what I wanted to do.